Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Buffalo SportsCenter video. I am Don, and with me today to discuss some hockey is a very special guest, currently a forward and captain of his team, the Milwaukee Admirals in the AHL. It's Mr. Cole Schneider. How are you doing today, Cole?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. And when I very quickly on my research, when I was attempting to stalk you and such, I realized that you're from Williamsville, which is pretty cool. Explain to me, how did you get into hockey while living in Western New York?
Well, my dad was coaching when I was younger and just started going to the rink with him and just established from there, get to go on the ice with some older guys all the time and seeing some good players come through. And one of the big guys I watched was Todd Marchand. He was another local guy. So really through my dad and him got me going to the game.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny you mentioned that. I used to go to a couple of Tom Marchand skating camps, got to meet him. It was pretty good up in Amherst. Yeah, or Williamsville, yeah, where the Amherst Knights play. That was pretty cool to meet him. It's pretty cool that that's your big guy. And when you were growing up, who would you try to model your game after the most? What NHL player other than Marchand?
I mean, I had season tickets to the Sabres, but my neighbors were huge Red Wings fans, and it was when the Red Wings were really good. So Stevie Eiserman was probably one of my favorite players, and I had some Sabres guys too, but Stevie Y probably because they were really good at the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were pretty good. They won a couple cups here and there. That they were pretty good. I think the Sabres were pretty good too. Yeah. No, and it's obviously very competitive here in Western New York, trying to get through in youth hockey. And there's the Regals. You got the Southtown Stars. You got now the Junior Sabres. How were you able to break through in youth hockey?
I played in Amherst growing up, and then when you get older, they try to make a super team basically, and I was lucky enough to make that, and we traveled all across the country, so we got some exposure from that, and I made a junior team, got recruited to college, and then played well in college, and now I'm still playing. So uh, some paths are right for some guys, and mine was obviously right for me.
Yeah, and did you ever anticipate being able to continue playing professional hockey well into your early 30s here now?
I mean, you dream of it as a kid, but when I went to college, I was taking pre-pharmacy classes, and everyone else on my team was like, "What are you doing? Taking easier classes?" And so I really didn't think I was gonna get to where I am today, but I'm glad I'm here.
And describe to me a little bit. You mentioned how you went to college, and you went to college at University of Connecticut, right?
Yep.
Yep. And after that, you became draft eligible. Explain to me, is that a chaotic process trying to get drafted into the NHL? Is there a lot of meetings and whatnot?
I didn't get drafted, so I'm like a late bloomer, as they say. So I had the option to sign with any team, and after my second year of college, I was talking to a bunch of teams. You sit down with your parents and you talk to your agent, and kind of go from there.
And you eventually settled on going with the Ottawa Senators organization. Why is that?
I had a lot of young guys at the time, and I thought I was going to get a chance to play, and I went to Binghamton in the AHL and really got a chance and did pretty well. And I think without them, I wouldn't be sitting here still.
And would you think that being undrafted gave you a little bit of a chip on your shoulder going through your early part of your hockey career?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've had that my whole life. Guys know the USHL. I got cut from there, so I went to the second tier league, and then UConn. They're getting better, a lot better now, but they weren't really a powerhouse in hockey at the time. So going there, I mean, just throughout my whole career, I felt that way.
Yeah, and it certainly shows you play a very gritty style of hockey, and eventually it's led you to being not just the captain on Milwaukee, but you're also the captain a couple of seasons ago for the Texas Stars, which has got to be a great honor, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to be the captain. I think it comes down to being a hard worker, and I think sometimes it comes down to being one of the older guys. So I'm getting older up in age and in the sport, so just trying to hang around as long as I can.
Yeah, and you certainly had a long career. I want to go into that a little bit. And you mentioned Binghamton, where it started. And how would you really describe your time in Binghamton?
We had my first 2 years. We had a lot of good teams. We got knocked out of the playoffs early twice, but it's a lot of fun, and it's good to see like 90% of that team's played in the NHL. So obviously, Ottawa knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and that was during the time the chaotic lockout there. How did your team able to handle that lockout that season?
I mean, I think management and coaches did pretty well. We had a lot more guys in the locker room than a normal year, so it was tough on some guys. My first year out of college too, so I didn't play right away. There were some guys down in the AHL, so it made it a little harder. But I think the coaches handled it well and got everyone involved and made sure when the lockout ended that everyone was ready to continue the season.
Yeah, and you certainly have been very good based off your stats totals throughout all of your years. And you've been very consistent to the AHL. And when looking at junior hockey and college hockey, how would you say that's different from going to a team like Binghamton, the AHL?
I mean, like I said before, everyone's path's different. Some guys it takes a little longer than others. We got some rookies that are 19 years old, some rookies that are 24, 25. So uh, like everyone's path's a little different, and mine was the way I went. I think worked out well for me.
And you want a stop in your path was actually coming back to your hometown team here in the Buffalo area. You were traded in a 7-player trade by the Ottawa Senators to the Sabres. And how did they even contact you? It's always mystified me. Like, these are guys too that upend their entire life. How did you deal with that first trade?
So I got a call from the Ottawa GM first, letting me know that I was traded and told me where and what I was doing, and then get a call from the Sabres GM a little bit later. So I mean, I was pretty happy about it. I wanted to get a shot with Ottawa. That's the first team I signed with. But growing up, playing hockey in the driveway and open ice, like your dream is always to play for your hometown team. So getting my first NHL game with the Sabres, it was really a dream come true.
And what's the turnaround like? How many days did you have to pack up your things and move on?
Well, luckily it was close, but the next day I was there. We just had a guy traded here from LA and
Hmm.
Ontario, so he had to fly and had to leave a bunch of his stuff in California. But luckily
Right.
for me, it was only a couple hours down the road.
Oh yeah, that's good. At least you're not getting moved across the country. That seems a little hectic for a day or so. But obviously, it didn't really last here in Buffalo. But you were able to get a lot of good games under your belt in Rochester. How would you describe your time there compared to Binghamton?
I mean, I loved it. I was close to home. I got the games with the Sabres, but it's always a business. The GM and the coaches left, and they brought new guys in. So those guys are always looking for their own new prospects and stuff like that. So I thought I was coming back for another year, but it made it a little bit harder. But you got to know it's a business, and you got to move on.
Yeah, and so really the decision was out of your hands. You wanted to stay in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but in that case, it was.
Yeah, and well, it seems like it's worked out. You've managed to bounce around a couple of teams, but you really seem to be at home. I was watching a couple of highlights from your Milwaukee games, and the team looks pretty good there in the Nashville. So you guys look great. Do you guys think that playoffs are realistic? And if so, guys think you can go on to win the Calder?
Yeah, I mean, we qualified for playoffs this week, so
Oh, good.
that was every team's first goal, and we've been pretty good for a couple of years here. Last year didn't play, so I was down in Texas, which was a little warmer, but I was happy to come back. And they always build a good team here and have a chance to win. A couple of years ago, we were first place in the league by a decent margin, and the season got shut down, and we were hoping to get back, but we never did. So making playoffs and having another chance this year is pretty exciting.
Now, you mentioned how you went down to Texas for a year. That seems kind of out of the ordinary. What happened in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, some of the AHL teams had to make tough decisions, and I was supposed to be back here, but it it is what it is. And then I ended up in Texas, and I mean, I had a great time down in Texas. They treat you really well. People are really nice. Anytime you want to go golfing, you can go out on the golf course. Sit by the pool, But this is becoming home now, second home for me. Always excited to get back for the summer, but when the season's going, this is home.
Now, are you a good golfer? I can say for myself I'm not that good, but are you okay? Like, have you hit a hole in one yet, or?
Uh, I've been close. I like playing. I wouldn't say I'm good. Play with some other hockey guys that can really smoke the ball, but I like to say I don't slow them down.
Oh, that's okay. Like I said, I'm not that good at golf course. Even though there's a golf course right behind my house, and I get hit with a golf ball every like weekend. But, yeah, no, it seems like a lot of you guys are all the summertime. It's just that's your second sport. Are you gonna play golf in the future or what?
Oh yeah, we'll get home and we'll get the boys out there pretty much as soon as we get back. You take a few weeks off and pretty much golfing every day.
Well, that's good. And I did check out your Instagram, which you guys should definitely go follow. I'll put that link in the description. And I'm very happy to see that you are a Bills fan. Are you a bigger Bills fan, or when you were a kid, were you a bigger Sabres fan?
I mean, I would say probably growing up, probably Sabres. I think at the time they were a little better, but after playing so much hockey, you like to get away from it a little bit. So now I definitely a bigger Bills fan. Around the locker room, guys are from all over, and we like to give it to each other about their football teams. And
Yeah. Well, now we got a good one.
unfortunately, we guys, other teams were knocked out, but this year when the Bills got knocked out, they know me and one of the other guys are huge Bills fans, so we had it coming to us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they said the whole 13 seconds thing. Oh my gosh, that was bad. Did you watch that game
Yeah,
live?
we're sitting watching the game, and with the other Bills guy, and there's 13 seconds left. We're like, "Are you kidding?" Like we know.
Oh, well, hopefully, I mean, that doesn't happen to you guys in Milwaukee. That would be kind of a bummer, too, in the playoffs. But um, would you say that Milwaukee's really grown on you? You mentioned that's your second home. Would you say that could you see yourself playing a couple more years there?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit ago, I signed back for one more year, so we're just taking it day by day right now. But I'm excited to be back. Buffalo doesn't have a major league team or an NBA team, so you kind of adopt the Brewers and the Bucks, and both those teams have been pretty good recently. So it's a fun city to be in right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And, well, obviously, you're towards, I would say, maybe, what would you say? Are you towards the twilight of your career, or you feel like you have a lot more hockey left to go?
I mean, age says so, but I'm going to try to play as long as I can. I've been in this league for a long time, but there's always options in Europe too. So as long as the paycheck's still coming in, I'm going to play as long as I can.
Yeah, well, that's good attitude. And eventually, when hockey does, I've talked to a couple of other hockey players before, and they always have an interesting answer to my next question, and that is, what is your life after hockey? Like, after you finally retire after living that 30-year long career, what are you going to do with yourself?
I mean, some guys have different answers, obviously, but I feel like I have a hockey mind and I want to stay in the game. That's a long time to be in hockey, so it's not easy to step away. Every guy has their day when it's time to hang up the skates, but I want to get into some type of role to stay in the game.
Well, good, yeah. And does that maybe foresee maybe executive position, a coaching position? Is that what you would be looking for, maybe?
I don't know about executive, but I think a coaching job or scouting job, something like that for sure.
Well, then, yeah. Maybe you can come scout for the Sabres someday. You never know. Maybe stick around with Milwaukee, scout for them too, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was Cole Schneider, forward and captain for the Milwaukee Admirals. He's got a couple games. They're about to make a playoff run. You can find him on Instagram. Of course, I'll drop that link in the description below. I was Don. This is Buffalo SportsCenter, and thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all in the next video.